Hello folks, today we will be talking about the top 3 most kid-friendly hikes in Grand Teton National Park. So whether you're here planning a trip for your family this summer or just curious, welcome. Just a little about us, we at Moran Adventuring are locals who create content designed for those trying to make the most of their time here in the parks. My family is actually from Jackson, Wyoming, and my wife and I both grew up in the area. We also have a couple of little ones, so we know how challenging it can be to plan trips that are engaging and inclusive for kids, and also at their age level. So, to try to make it easier for others, we've made this video. The nice thing about hiking is that it's relatively inexpensive, or even free sometimes. It's exercise, and you are engulfed by nature. All 3 of these hikes connect you with nature in a primal, powerful way, and we believe are awesome for kids. With that in mind, let's get started. So the first hike on this list, and number 3 in our opinion, is Jenny Lake. Jenny Lake is one of the most popular hikes to do here in Grand Teton, and it's definitely worth your while. You have to hike it at least once in your life. As far as traffic goes, Jenny Lake can actually get pretty crowded. Much of the popularity is likely due to the ease. The crowds can be a good thing though, because crowds on the trails surrounding Jenny Lake keep bears away. That doesn't mean you won't run into families armed to the teeth with bear spray though. We just usually chuckle and move on. We still have run into moose and other wildlife while hiking around the lake though. So while it varies based on the path you take, most if not all of the hike is really flat. There are many areas with spectacular postcard views though. It's a nice hike if you want to slow down and take everything in. On the far side of the lake, there's a popular trail that leads to Hidden Falls, which is a stunning waterfall on the mountainside. The trails are well maintained and there are many delightful wooden bridges over crystal clear creeks as you meander through the forest. So here's a map of Grand Teton National Park. We're going to take a closer look at this portion of the map. To get to Jenny Lake, head north from Jackson until you arrive at Moose Junction, and from there, you head north past the entrance booth into the park. There will be multiple signs for Jenny Lake, so there should really be no way that you can miss where to park your car. From there, you can take either trail around the lake. Some of the most interesting features, such as Hidden Falls or Inspiration Point, are actually on the far side of the lake. You can hike over there, or you can pay to take a ferry that travels across the lake and drops you off on the other side. The ferries arrive every 10 to 15 minutes, and during the summer, they operate from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just don't lose track of time and get back to the dock after 7, or you'll have to hike all the way back. Number 2 on this list is the trail from String Lake to Hidden Falls. This trail starts at String Lake, and then it makes its way along the back of Jenny Lake till you reach Hidden Falls. The views are phenomenal, and most of the time you're surrounded by dense green foliage like you can see in this picture here. It's ranked over Jenny Lake trails in our eyes because it is much less crowded, still relatively flat, but offers views that, in my mind, are far more spectacular than the views from the Jenny Lake trails. The surrounding hillsides are full of life. I mean, just look at this picture. Can you imagine what it must smell like to be standing here? Or what it must sound or feel like? You don't experience that every day, and that's part of why people want to come to Grand Teton National Park, in my opinion at least. Be aware that you are more likely to encounter wildlife, though, on this trail, since it's less crowded. So just make sure that you're prepared. Have bear spray, hike in a group, I think you know what to do. You can hike as far as you want, but eventually you'll hook up with the Jenny Lake Trail and arrive at Hidden Falls. So here's the map again, and we're going to look at this area. To get to the trailhead, you'll enter the park like you do if you're going to Jenny Lake. However, you'll drive past Jenny Lake and turn left here. There should be signs to guide you to the String Lake parking lot. You could turn left earlier, but the second turn provides a breathtaking view of Mount Moran, so we like that one better. From the String Lake parking lot, there's a trail heading south. That's the start of the hike. String Lake itself is actually an awesome place if you like to swim or paddleboard, and we've encountered grizzly bears in the parking lot there before. Alright, so now it's time for number 1, which is Phelps Lake. Phelps Lake is an underappreciated gem that offers beautiful views of the lake and surrounding mountainside. The hike itself is not actually very crowded, but I'd say it's more crowded than the hike from String Lake to Hidden Falls. The hike to reach the lake is short and relatively flat, so it's a great destination hike for younger kids. The hike from the parking lot does not take you to where this picture was taken. This is actually a different hike that overlooks Phelps Lake. The hike from the parking lot takes you to the lake itself. You can also continue to hike around the lake, which is still flat and easy. If you like to live dangerously, there's a massive rock you can leap off to into the Antarctic temperature water. A few things to be aware of though. In the fall, bear encounters are more likely, especially on this trail. There are lots of berries around this area, and bears love to come down and gobble them up as they're getting ready to hibernate. Also know that during the summer, for some strange reason, it seems to rain nearly every afternoon just over Phelps Lake. I don't really understand why, but I've been there enough times to say it's a strangely consistent weather phenomenon. Not much is worse than being caught in a downpour on a hike without proper gear, so don't forget to bring a jacket of some kind. Getting to Phelps Lake is a little different than the previous 2 hikes. Phelps Lake is nice because you don't actually have to pay to enter the park in this area. The most common way to get to Phelps Lake is to turn left instead of right like the last 2 hikes when you are at Moose Junction. Follow the Moose Wilson Road until you come to the Lawrence Rockefeller Preserve on your left. There will be signs to tell you where the preserve is. Alternatively, you can come from Teton Village along Moose Wilson Road from the south. From the preserve, you take a short hike to the base of the lake. Just know that there are limited parking spots at the preserve, so you'll want to arrive early. If the preserve is full, you have to take a long, pothole-riddled road to the Death Canyon Trailhead. This way to Phelps has a much greater elevation change and is not nearly as short or easy. It does lead you to the overlook of the lake that you saw earlier in this video, so it's a worthwhile hike if the people have the energy for it. Thank you for viewing, and if you found this helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing.